Hello, this is Beta Ray Ben for Pixel Spank, and today I've got another exciting LEGO build and review. It's the LEGO Star Wars Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. I know what you're thinking, did Yoda have a Jedi Starfighter? According to this, yes. I'm trying to think when. I feel like it would be in Revenge of the Sith. There was a bit where he gets in a ship to leave Kashyyyk, but I think that was a Wookiee-owned ship. I remember it being more vertical than a Jedi Starfighter, but I might be wrong. I've finally got a knife to open these, and I don't even need one for this box. It's the kind where you can just punch your thumb through it. I'm slightly annoyed by the convenience. Okay. Alright. So it should be quite a quick build, actually. I've just noticed the box says Master Your Force on it, and I don't really know what that means. We've only got 3 bags, not too many 4 stickers, in fact. Although, they still could take a bit of time. I think I'm just going to build it as is without getting up to change the angle or anything, because I reckon I can do this whilst talking casually. Thought that was the minifigure then. I got the legs out and I got the head, but none of the rest appeared with it. Alright, well I'll throw this together and I'll come back in a minute to look at the thing. Okay, and we're finished with the with Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, which yeah, it's quite a nice little piece. There's not actually much to it really. The cockpit's very small. And the wings, or fins, or whatever you want to call them, not a lot going on, but they got a cool look to them. The green is very nice, and they fold in a very pleasing fashion. So you could get that to sit in such a way as you'd like. In fact, I've got that perfectly balanced there. I'm really proud of that, because how is that sat like that? There's not really anything for it to sit on to do that, and yet it is. Well, that's perfect like that. I'm gonna leave that now. Not too many superfluous pieces with this set, which is quite nice. You won't have any, because you can't throw those little bits away, but equally there's no use to them. Let's get on to features. You get 2 minifigs. You get Yoda, who's very slightly shorter than a regular figurine. It's all in the legs though, so the back's the same height, the head's the same size, so he kind of looks right next to like the others. He doesn't look like a child. You get 2 lightsabers. Well, no, you get 2 handles and then 1 blade, but the handles are the same. So I don't know if you want to do a scene like of him just with a lightsaber and him without, maybe. It doesn't look like specifically Yoda's lightsaber, but so you could give it to anyone. There's odd air bubbles in the plastic of the blade. I don't know why. If there's any reason to that, but the air bubbles are in the picture, so I guess it's supposed to be like that. You also get an R2 minifig, which I really like. It's very cool. The legs move as well. He's got no bum though, so he hasn't got like his 3rd wheel. He looks fine when you stick him in the cockpit. And to be honest, he's such a shape that I suspect if you just had a 2x2 Lego square with a single thing coming up, you could sit him basically anywhere with ease and he'd look fine on like a Lego bit. So the cockpit here, the front opens thusly and the top opens thatly. So Yoda presumably walks out down the glass. I haven't yet managed to get him in. I'm going to attempt to do it now. I'm pretty sure he'll go in there. There's 2 possible locations that I can jam. I say there's 2. He's not going into one of them. There may only be one. Right, he's in that. Does he fit? Does he fit? No. All right. Does he go in the other one? This will be very disappointing now if he doesn't go in either of them. I've built this up in my mind. I think he's going to fit. It's looking hopeful. Top goes down first. Okay, so Yoda is in there, but he's way back there. But it's a good place to keep him. Does leave the question of what do you do with these now? Maybe just they stick on the edge? No, they're smaller than standard Lego. Now there's 2 gun turrets. I'm pretty sure these will be the kind that will fire quite far, like on the Falcon. Let's find out. Oh yes, that's very satisfying. It's a good distance. It's not dangerously far, but it's going to get some movement on it. Just fires by just sort of tickling the end. The only annoying thing is that when you've got them loaded up, they jut out past the back, past the engine, so it can look a little bit odd from behind. So if you got it purely for display, you're probably just going to want them unloaded, which, yeah, it's not too much of an issue because he's got these 2 black things are meant to look like the guns anyway. So yeah, it kind of works either way. There were, how many? 6 stickers to put on, and they're symmetrical. They're very easy to apply and weren't exactly an issue. Oh yeah, there's 2 on the back and 4 on the top there. It's a really good, quick little build, actually. I don't think there's much more to say about it. The only thing I can't really think of is where the Lego Starfighter even came from. Sometimes they show you scenes in the back that will give you a rough idea. This is not one of those times. I'm sure Yoda, like, he definitely would have had one in at least like Star Wars Clone Wars, for example. But I'm trying to think if in the films he had one, because this is from, I think this is from like, well, this is like when Disney owned it. So maybe Star Wars Rebels, maybe he's in that, and I haven't seen it. No, he can't be. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Either way, it's a cool Jedi Starfighter, and Yoda finally gets his own ship that he doesn't borrow from some Wookiees. Maybe it was that one, and I just don't remember it looking like this. It's probably the right size to go with the Falcon as well. Let's bring that in. Just lift that up. Yeah, it looks about right. The Falcon's probably a bit too small here, but like the cockpit size kind of matches up, doesn't it? So it doesn't look solely out of place. It's a nice little one. It's quite a quick build. It's certainly more of a toy, but that's fine. I don't mind that. You don't get a brick separator though. I actually needed it multiple times throughout the build. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the full build video. I'll see you next time. I'm wondering how big it will be. Probably not that big. It's only Yoda after all. There he is. That was easy. Step 1 done. Probably look at the instructions now, I suppose. I don't think I'm going to get any kind of what's it called in this, am I? Here's a little tip when you're doing Lego. Take the empty bags, stick them in the box. That way you won't, if you leave any pieces in the bags, they'll be left in the box. Keeps all the mess contained. You can have that one for free. There we are. Pop that up there. That's 2 and 3. Okay, oh no. Well, there's an R2-D2. Wait. It looks like R2-D2, but why would R2-D2 be with Yoda? Apparently, oh, there's a lightsaber. This is the first Lego lightsaber I've had. In fact, well, no, I had Rey, the Millennium Falcon. She should, in theory, have had a lightsaber. But other than that, I don't think I've had any Jedi characters, have I? No, because yeah, BB-8 didn't have anything with him. Okay, let's see. I need an L shape and a long gear. Put that like that. Straight through. Black gear. The gear pieces are sort of long and cross-shaped. Alright, and a weird U clip which goes somehow like that. Alright. I think there's nothing finer than the initial bits of Lego where you're just putting nonsense together and it's nothing, and then suddenly it's very much something. That's It's the zenith of Lego, isn't it? You know what? That's a dumb way of putting it together. I'm breaking instructions already. It's asking me to ram this whole red thing down there, down the length, whereas I could pass it through the short end. There we go. That's cheeky. What a time I've saved. I'm a genius. Blue through pipe. And that goes through this. Yep. Wait, does it? Wait, no. Other way. I think. Yep. All the time I saved earlier is now lost because I have to force this down. That was actually quite easy. Kind of a tube bit. There's my head Lego, yeah, all the green bits are up here, so nothing I build now is likely to be seen from the outside, is it? There's a lot of crosswork, which makes me think this is actually like an engine piece I'm building. Yeah, one of them. Oh shit. I'm not looking at the instructions, I'm just looking at the pictures, which is 90% of the instructions, but I've already made 2 mistakes. This is the threat of trying to do it live, as opposed to not live, I suppose. What the yeah, okay. Making a kebab on this red skewer here. It's oddly confusing to me, even though it shouldn't be. Nope. Is that right? Yeah, get in there. Get in there. Okay. My God. I need another one of these. Tube. I had the strangest dream last night. I was in a kind of a courtyard area with a friend I know. I don't know him that well. I play sport with him, so we you know, I see him once a week, but we share pleasantries and very rarely anything else. And suddenly we got attacked by a flock of kind of mutant birds. The best way I could describe them would be like irradiated bats, or if you imagine a bat that has hair and then lost all the hair, would be how I would describe it. And the friend I was with said, oh, their name I can't remember because my mind has blocked it out, from Stranger Things. And one of them swooped down and I hit it with, I think it was a bow, like a bow and arrow, like I hit it with a bow, which apparently I had. And the bell's ringing. So that happened, and then I turned around and he'd disappeared, and he'd gone in a building, which when I went inside it turned out to be my grandparents' house, obviously. And when I was in there, I said to him, well, you know, what are they? And he goes, oh, they're these things from Stranger Things. I haven't watched Stranger Things, mine, so, you know, this is just my head making it up. And then I said, what happens if you kill them? Or, like, can you kill them? And he goes, yeah, you can kill them, but they give everyone breast cancer. And I was like, oh, well, that's a hell of a thing. Alright, looks like I'm starting over. So that was the odd dream I had, and it wasn't even the only odd dream I had. That was the weird thing. Another one where I was visiting a friend who had recently got engaged. In the dream, this is he's single in real life. He just got engaged, so I was meeting his fiance for the first time in the dream, and you know how you meet someone in a dream, obviously, and you immediately dislike them. It was a case of that. And was one of them where I was like, you really like this girl? I mean, all right, fair play. That's your choice. She's horrible to you though. Like she was properly mean to him in the dream. Mind, none of this is real. I should state that as much as possible. And hang on, yeah. So one of the reasons I noticed she was horrible to him was in their living room. They had 3 televisions set up in a line. One of them a CRT. One of them like a small fat screen, roughly 25 inches, that sort of ballpark. And then one like a 40-inch old plasma. And for some reason, like she refused to let him ever use whichever TV he wanted to use for any given purpose. Like if he wanted to play a PS4 game, she'd make him do it on the CRT and just really weird shit like that. And I remember being in there and like he was clearly having like the logical debate where it's like, why can't we just have, you know, that one TV? And he was like gesturing to a new HD TV in the corner, like sort of 50 inch. He's like, why can't we use that? That TV's fine. It would do all of this. And she's like, no, they each have a purpose. And it was very odd. And then we teleported to a club, like a nightclub. That's the word. I was going to call it a dance club then to just show how out of the loop I am with these things. And inexplicably, I had no trousers on, and I was in a DJ booth, and no one could tell. And it was a very odd situation from there on out. I'm in two minds. It's a well-known fact that no one gives a shit about anyone else's dreams, because dreams are nonsense. But equally, I feel when a dream is odd enough, it deserves some recognition. And if you've struck out to try and remember a dream as odd as that two combined I had. I will point out this was all in one night. This wasn't like over the course of any time or anything. I genuinely I went straight from one to the other. The Stranger Things breast cancer birds. I don't fully understand what it means. Having not seen any of Stranger Things, I don't know if that's canon. It could be, you know. It's a strange show. It's in the name, isn't it? Where are we at? One of these little bastards. It's funny. It's not a big piece, but it's surprisingly hard to try and keep a running commentary going and also build Lego. You'd think it would be easy. Oh, well, actually, I don't know why you'd think that. Alright, it's now showing me that if I've got something correct, it's... Oh, right. Yeah, it was actually quite simple. There's 2 gears in place, and it's saying they have to be lined up in a plus configuration as opposed to an X configuration. I've got a pair of pliers here, which is perfectly designed for this sort of job. Just gently manipulate it. It's not forcing it. It's small, and I have large-ish hands. Yeah, that's quite good. Doesn't say they both need to be, but generally Lego wants to be symmetrical, so I'll assume that to be true. It's odd, when you normally have these cross-shaped gears, it will imply that something can move on them, so it doesn't really matter what position they're in, because the thing will move. Alright, there's some elbow macaroni-shaped bits going on now. Like so. Oh, hang on, so it was just to get these 2 bits. That was dumb. Wait, oh shit, I put them on wrong. Supposed to join them together first, then stick them in. I'm quite looking forward to this. The Jedi Starfighter is one of my favourite ships in Star Wars. More particularly Obi-Wan's one from Attack of the Clones. It's the one with the hyperdrive ring. It's just a very cool design. It's confusing why it needs that ring to go into hyperdrive, but it looks cool, doesn't it? Right there on. Now two other even weirder little bits. So far, this has been almost entirely made up of odd little bits, like little L shapes and things that you would never, if you were designing Lego, you'd design it all with just like flat bricks and squares and stuff. Not stuff you'd be able to use unless you're kind of a big deal in Lego terms. I reckon secretly when they make Lego versions of regular things, they have a computer that does it initially, just gives you a rough Lego version, and then they push a button that sort of just increases the brick count and makes it slightly more unnecessarily complicated, just to make it feel like you're getting something out of it. Alright, I'm applying the first sticker. I'm slightly nervous. It's on a curve, which always makes it difficult, but it is square. Alright, it's on. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's a good sign. I've only really properly messed up one sticker I've applied in all these Lego builds I've done so far. It was on the shield helicarrier. It's only noticeable to myself, but I do notice it, so it's my burden to live with from now on. If that's got a sticker on it, that means it's going to be visible from at the end. That's a rule, isn't it? Alright, now just a completely new bit. These little things, these grey things, I know what these are. These are guns. This is how you make a gun. In fact, they've given me the gun bit, but they haven't yet given me the... just noticed I've got two of Yoda's lightsaber. They haven't given me the ammo for the gun. That must come later to avoid the temptation that anyone would have of shooting it off immediately. And honestly, you'll lose it. I think what I'll do is I'll in the main video I'll fast forwards this building bit, and I'll either put it on at the end as a little special feature, or I might even put it out as its own little video, because it's probably going to be quite long. I don't think there'll be much to see, so I'm a little bit zoomed out. I'll probably have cracked in like double on this. I'll see. It's an experiment. This is a smaller set, so I thought it's a good time to sort of mess around with how I do it. I don't watch anyone else's Lego videos because I don't want to be tainted by their ideas. I want to come up with my own stuff, you know. Like if I come up with something that someone else has done and I see they've done it and I don't like it, I'll be biased somehow and it'll annoy me. All right, so these attach underneath. Oh yeah, that fits in there just nicely. At least it would have, like that. Oh yeah, well that's a good fit. That's good. That's feeling like the front of a ship, and it's got a good density to it at this point. It feels hefty. Right, some kind of stair-shaped block. In fact, there's two of them. I think I'm making part of the cockpit now. It feels somewhat cockpit-esque. I wonder if because Yoda's minifig is slightly shorter. Actually, is he? Well, I'm saying he's shorter than the standard minifig. It's actually his head and torso are the same size. His legs are just a bit smaller. Like, barely anything. Maybe an eighth or a quarter smaller, I would say. It's actually not quite as... I was going to say, because Yoda's a smaller minifig, they could maybe get a better design on the ship, because they haven't got to fit him in it, but that's not the case. This isn't fitting right. There we go. How does this go? This fits on square in that hole. See, the only problem with Lego, when they show you where to put a piece, they will only ever show you once. They won't give you like 2 views of it. Is that true? I feel like I've just made that up and it's not. I'm pretty sure that's true. And it's oddly annoying. Does that fit? Yeah. So that goes on there. It's good. That's clearly the front of a ship. It's got that look to it. Alright, something easy. Just combining these things. There's these little round pieces. They're about the size of a 2x2 Lego square and then made round. They're almost never used on their own. You seem to always, when you have them, just put them together to make 2 of them. But I've seen it before where they've given you 2 of them. So I don't know why it's... So sometimes you have to combine them, sometimes you don't. It's probably a good reason for it. They seem to know what they're doing. Is this the back of the ship I'm looking at? No, it's got the turret. Oh, it could be. I'm thinking these are the thrusters. Possible. I haven't really looked at the finished picture. I like it to sort of come to me in a series of surprises. Okay. Nearly done with bag 1. There's a slight risk that I haven't got enough memory in my camera to record this. It's got a 64GB memory card in there, which is huge, but I'm recording this in 4K definition, which is slightly unnecessary because 1, who's watching this in that, 2, what are you really gaining from it, and 3, I don't think I even have good enough lighting for it to be effective, but I feel I might as well use it. So if you've got a fancy 4K monitor for Christmas or whatever, yeah, I'll just put that on. It's not supposed to go on, is it? I need to build it up a bit first. That could have been a huge error. Right, so that goes on. How? Like, no? Like, okay. Oh. Oh, right, okay. Right, that was incredibly unclear. Everything's grey on here, and it's not overly telling what it is. Okay. These red bits, I can tell at some later date, I'm going to build something large and they'll thread in and I'll push those down. In fact, no. A later date is in fact right now. It's literally the next thing over. I just put these things in there. Yep. Okay, good thing is that was really hard to force in there and it's now really solidly in there. Bad news is I put this at 90 degrees the wrong angle. This old brick separator should work though. It's got a kind of cross protrusion on it designed for jamming these out. If you can get the angle right, which I can't. Come on, there we are. All right. Another part of the ship fell off then, but it's fine. You very gently use these pliers. There we are. Lego is solid to a degree. You can't put loads of force on it, but as long as you're applying the force in the correct direction, it's fine. Right, so they've got to face outwards. Okay, good news is it's facing the wrong way. Bad news is I've got it at 90 degrees wrong again. I haven't, but I honestly, I very nearly did then. If it was possible to, I would have. anytime you're pushing through, it's always a slightly painful act because there's nothing. You need to know what you can grip off. All right, bag 2. Only 4 spare pieces from that first bag, though I think they've given a spare lightsaber so that you can have Yoda with his lightsaber out or retracted. Okay, immediately I'm seeing R2-D2 in this, so I'm going to build him straight away. Where's his head? There it is. All right. Never had an R2-D2 Lego. Never had an R2-D2 anything actually. I don't know why I'm holding that specifically to Lego. He's probably going to be the wrong size to fit in that X-wing that's next to me, but a man can dream, can't he? There we go. No, he's entirely too small. Yeah, that's a shame. All right, well, there's little R2. That's quite pleasing. I'll put that aside for later. And move on with the ship. Okay. You know how I joked about that bit I just put in and it was 90 degrees wrong? It is 90 degrees wrong. I've actually put it in entirely backwards. So I've got to take that out again. Being careful to not break the whole thing apart. Good. Came out a bit easier that time. I think it's because this is now its 3rd time being installed. I think that's now right. It better be right because I'm not doing it again. Always open the little bags off to the side. You want the pile of big stuff roughly in front of you and a little bag to the side. Eventually you'll start getting a good eye for what's in the little bags and what's in the big bags. I got a big bag, yes I do. Okay, this is good, but it looks like we're just adding bits of decoration at this point. That's my favourite bits to add because you can't really mess them up too heavily. So it slopes inwards. So I saw The Last Jedi. I liked it. I thought some elements of the story were fairly pointless, but it was a good watch. I like Luke in it in particular. I know some people didn't, but I don't give a shit. I intend to go and see it again tonight because I've only seen it once, and I like to see films like that twice at the cinema, but ideally with a bit of a break in between. So I normally see it like opening night and then go again essentially on closing night. Ideally, fortunately for Star Wars, it'll be on for ages, so I can push it back quite a bit. I saw Thor Ragnarok 3 times. I liked it so much. It was really good. Worked well on multiple watchings as well. It's a very funny film. There we are. It really annoys me in Lego. What it's just done there is it's told me to build this little construction, and then it just says at the end, yeah, 2 of them. Just as a sort of a screw you. So yeah, well done. 2 of them. Good. Okay, that's good. That's the engine side. You see those little grates there? They're always engine related. Good, a big block. My favourite kind of thing to add. The bigger the piece you add, the more satisfying it is, I find. When you're doing like the real big sets and there's like just the big square piece, the big rectangular pieces there, they're particularly immense to throw in. The shield helicarrier, that was a favourite of mine when you're building the deck on that and there's just some big flat bits and it doesn't look like anything, and then you're just like, boom, runway, nice. Oh, we've got clear glass. That's going to be cockpit. Well, clear plastic. I really like this green. I don't think I've built anything with green yet. So far, it's been mostly black, grey, light grey, and white. Green is refreshing. Obviously, yeah, there's bits of red and stuff, but never green. How does that go? Goes that way. Face, yeah, is that right? Yep, look at it. 8 to 9 times before you put it in finally. Oh yeah, these little red bits, these are definitely power crystals going in there. So this microphone I'm using, this little lapel mic, it's quite good actually. It's surprisingly good. Does a good job. It's wired to the camera. You can see the wire comes down there and it just trails along the floor up to the camera. For some reason, it's got a little like control box which I stick in my pocket. Sometimes you'll see me forget to do it and it'll be just on the table or whatever. It takes batteries. I can't well, no, it's got batteries in it, and then there's a little switch on the control box which it says on it phone off or camera on. So if you're using it with a camera, the camera can't power the microphone, so it has to use the batteries. I've done this wrong somehow. Yeah, I was meant to put that all on the side. Ah, and it's all flush. It fits perfectly. Damn you. Oh, came off in one. Success. Is that going to fit? Yeah. Nah, just slightly off. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Yeah, so eventually this microphone I use, the battery's going to run flat. And as far as I know, it uses little button cells. And I don't think microphones use like any power at all. So it's going to be a while. But I have no idea of... It won't tell me when it's going to happen, I don't think. So one day I'll just do a video and the microphone will presumably stop. And I fear that day greatly. Yeah, because I'll have no audio at all. Actually, I think if it cuts out, it's 50-50. It will either use the camera's mic or it will just be nothing. That is a slight fear I have. I should get a wireless one, really. But I think they're quite expensive to get them good. Does that go on? Yeah. And then there should be another one somewhere. If you're ever doing this like with someone else, it's quite hard to do. You should just like either if they're like your younger brother or your kid or whatever, make them ride bitch essentially. So they have to they don't get to do any actual assembling. They just have to sort all the bits out into similar strands, because it will make it significantly easier. Does it take some of the fun of it? Possibly. There we are. It's good. I'm moving along very swiftly now. I'm about halfway through bag 2, and as a general rule, the faster you accelerate, in a sense of like something's wrong. This is wrong. I've done this wrong. Ah, it's not going to get in there. Damn it. Yeah, as a general rule with Lego, as you get nearer the end, you speed up because you get quicker. How does this go? It bends around that corner to that. Is that right? The perspective is very confusing. I'm pretty sure that that's correct though. You can't see any of this, obviously. It's far too small and at odd angles, but it is there and it is confusing. You can trust me on that. And boom, done. I'm intending to see The Last Jedi again tonight. I did say that already, I'm sure, but trying to get back on track for what I was talking about. I'm in two minds, because although I do want to see it again, and I'll be annoyed to miss it, there's a few other films I want to see. I try and see all films, you see. There's that Churchill one with Gary Oldman, which is either called Churchill, Our Finest Hour, or Our Darkest Hour. It's somewhere between that. What's confusing me is because there was another film out in the summer called Their Finest, and there was also, I think there was another Winston Churchill film, and I think in that one it was about how he was slightly useless, but it was generally poorly received. Yeah, so there's that Churchill film. And then there's one other as well, which I'm struggling to remember right now. Oh yeah, that was it. Three billboards near somewhere, Epping, something like that, Missouri. Which looks an intriguing film. Oscar bait, I'd refer to it. Well, not Oscar bait, but you know, you can tell it's going to do well, so you feel like you should watch it. In England, in sort of January and February, and well, in January and February, we get kind of all the possible Oscar films. So it's an odd time for cinema, because you also get like the crap that was almost good enough to be like a summer release, but they're like, no, there's no room. This is trash. So you get like crappy action films and that sort of thing. But then you also get like the Oscar bait. So it makes for a very odd time of year. Okay, where's this piece I need? There it is. And then after the Oscars, which I want to say around March, you get the films that were so small that you didn't think they would win. They then do win, and then they come out and they do really well here because they're on the back of an Oscar, so people have actually heard of them. Is that right? I've done that. Oh, there's a good one. I'm putting this on now. Boom, and suddenly it's become a thing, hasn't it? It's saying to keep that down. I like this. Every now and again the instructions will say, put that aside and start entirely again. If you can hear a noise in the background, that's my dog who's just come in and they started eating. It's because it's a dog. It's an outdoor dog, lives outdoors mostly. Yeah. Which some people think is cruel, but I think dogs like living outdoors. They ask to go out at night. That's what they're made for. Granted, they are quite big dogs, and I say outdoors. It's outdoors on a farm, so they're not exactly trapped in a garden, which I think is mean. Dogs need a good amount of space to run wild, unless it's a small dog. But small dogs are pointless. Okay, I've made an assembly. I don't know what it does yet, but I reckon it's got to go in like this. Okay, I'm gonna preempt. Okay, so I've made the cockpit, which opens up nicely. I'm tempted to put Yoda in it now, but I feel like there might be some more pieces to it. Okay, very complicated bit of design coming up now, I can tell. You. I was half joking when I said that, but actually this is quite picky what they're going for. Oh, it's the fin, isn't it? Oh, now I see. Stick that on top as well. Is that right? That's not right. That's right. Okay, right. So that goes on this side as we look at it. How does that connect though? Does it go on there? There's a kind of arrow symbol telling me how to put it on, but it's frankly meaningless. I'm guessing it pushes into these. This is the only place it can go. So, oh yeah, that's coming along nicely. I'm guessing it's about to tell me to do all of that again. Yep, how did I see that coming? It's funny when they give you bits to do that are essentially symmetrical like this. You'd think it would be easy doing the second one, but somehow it's always less straightforward than you think. Mainly because you think you know it, so you start trying to skip ahead, and you invariably make mistakes because it will be mirrored, or sometimes it won't be mirrored. It will be, you'll think it's mirrored and it's not. Okay. I did that far too quickly. It's definitely going to be wrong somehow. Oh, there we are. It's getting pretty close. Close that up nicely, yeah. Oh, load the cannons. How do they load? These aren't actually the cannons. What these are is the... What? Oh, right. These are the like the what do they call them? They're the bits that are meant to look like cannons, and then the actual cannons are secluded elsewhere. Is that the right bit? Yeah. I'll build both of them at once. Why not? I always like the way they build these, because it always it's either like the end of a gun or it's a radar array, but it's always like the same makeup for it, and it's very pleasing that it just, wherever you put it, it makes it, you think it's that thing. There we are. Obviously Yoda's fighter pilot would have guns on it. He's not a full pacifist, is he? Bag 3 already. Do you like that, the way I opened that? It had quite a pleasing grace to it, didn't it? It's because they use oddly high quality plastic for these bags. They're quite solid, they're sort of rigid, makes them hold nicely. So the last bit to make is sort of the outer wings, the bit that makes the explosion cooler because they fly off. All right. Step 1 on this is great. Is take one of these and take one of these, and do that, and that's it. You don't actually combine them. It's just they go together. Right. So that goes on. I think like this. Oddly confusing arrangement. This one, yeah, okay, I think that's right. Everything's off center, and it's genuinely hard to. Oh my god! Hugely confusing bit of construction coming up here. I think I'll muddle through it though. See, normally I record these using time lapse, so I don't generally know how long it takes me to build them. I could work it out quite easily because I know it takes, the time lapse does a picture, I think, every second. So 1 minute of footage is made up of however many frames per second I do it in. I can't remember that much. So I then speed it up at the end, but it wouldn't be that hard to work it out, honestly. In fact, there'd be an easier way, because I think my camera tells me how much memory it will use per like minute of time lapse, and I know that, so I could actually, does that work? I don't know. There's easier ways of doing it, but it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? All right, one of these up like this, I think. And then 2 little fins for stability. Somewhere around there. There's nothing I can get like an idea of sort of scale off on this, so I can't tell if anything's in, like everything on this piece could easily be off by 1, and it's a huge fear I'm currently going through. I also feel like I'm not I'm not giving this like 100% attention, so there's a good chance that I'm making very slight errors at all moments. Although frankly that's true of every aspect of my life up to this point, so I don't really need there. That's looking good. Drop that on there. And then 2 of these little grey step ups. That's good. That's good. I've got something fancy down there. I've got one of the Lego walkers. What are they called? The I want to say AT-AT, but I always get confused with them because there's AT-STs and AT-ATs, and I think STs are the little ones. Because I reckon at some point they call the bigger ones an AT-AT. But I've got one of them. I've got like a first order one, which in my head looks exactly the same as a standard one, but on what would be like the forearm or possibly the shank area, it's got like an artillery loading zone. Okay, so this just twists up. That's a whole step. A whole step is just twisting that up. Don't question it. They know what they're doing, these crafty bastard builders. Okay, and that's it on that. Just start again now. Start again and discover that it did say to build that one twice, which I think I have to do, but I'm going to leave it for now and go back and do it because I suspect it'll pan out to be that while I do have to build it twice, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I'll keep going as it tells me, and eventually I'm sure I'll be wrong, entirely wrong. I had a weird meeting the other day. I was I turned up to have a game of badminton with someone who invited me down to play badminton, and I was like, yeah, all right, I might turn up. And I ended up being the first one there, and I didn't know anyone who was playing, like anyone at all. And all I knew is that in the hall I was in, there were 4 courts. I think we had 1 or 2 of them, and there's a good choice like other people would be using the other ones, so I didn't know which ones we were on. So I was just sat there. 2 people came in. I was like, "There's every chance I'll be playing with these guys, but I won't assume I am until I know, because it'll be awkward otherwise." And I'm a very awkward person, just as is. I don't need to compound that with anything. Eventually, I became confident that I was playing with them, and one of them walked up and goes, "Oh, are you so and so's friend?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, he gave me a call and sent me down there." And he goes, "Oh, Ben." I was like, "Oh right, you know my name." I was thrown off from it. I was like, "Wait, does he know my name, or is his name Ben?" I was like, "There are no other adults called Ben. You don't meet like it's odd. It's a very common name, but I just don't often meet people called Ben. It doesn't really happen that often." It just really threw me off, because to have someone walk up to you, and because he didn't say like, "I'm Ben," it was just, "Oh great, Ben." And that's where my life's been these past few days. Yeah, okay. Is that good? How are we doing? Murder on the thumbs doing this Lego. It really, it's a very slow build up of pain. It's not like this set. At this point, my thumbs are sort of starting to feel abrased somewhat. I can best describe it as you're doing an activity, and you can tell it's starting to hurt, but not more than the amount of joy you're getting from the activity, so you won't stop doing it, but you know it is causing not lasting damage, but lasting damage. Will eventually begin to hurt. And the last step, of course, is turn that up. So we got them two. And now it's saying, I don't reckon I have got to go back and build two of the earlier. Oh, wait, no, wait. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, so... yeah, I get it now. I get it. It makes sense. I combine these to go like that. It's saying I need to make two of this whole thing. That's what it is. And that goes on there. And that's somehow very pleasing. And this slots in like so. Ooh. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's very nice. I wondered how they get that, because even like in the films, it seems an odd design that these extra bits of nonsense are barely connected to the main body, but that's good so far. Annoyingly, I now have to go back and build all of that again. Where did it start? Around here. Okay. How quickly can I do this? Not very. It's going to be the inevitable answer. Mirrors. I hate mirrored things. I can never understand them. This first bit is by far and away the hardest, just because it somehow seems to defy all aspects of logic. It shouldn't, but it does. I think it's because they ask you to... They should tell you to put stuff on the grey bit, but they're telling you to put the grey bit on stuff. A useless analogy unless you also have this exact set and you're building it along with me. Which, to be fair, you might well be. That wouldn't be the most outlandish thing, because were you doing that, you'd probably be, I'd say, at a similar stage to me. I've been going at a fairly reasonable pace. I don't think at any stage I've really slowed down, have I? I've been keeping a solid jogging pace the whole way through. Although I do seem to remember thinking back now, there was a bit where I got really distracted talking about odd dreams I'd had. That may have killed an hour or two, but looking back. I'm terribly paranoid to discover that when I look back at this, the microphone's not working, so I'll have done all of this whilst talking, which will wreck my voice, and gotten no like additional content out of it. That's the bit that really stings, the lack of the content. Particularly now, I'm on a very tight schedule these days. I'm busy work-wise, so I have to cram all my recording where possible into 2 days, which is easily doable, but it's not overly sustainable. I can do it for sort of 3 weeks, and then it gets pretty ragged after that. There we go. It's always pleasing putting these little smooth edged pieces on, mainly because when you push them down, your thumb's pushing on something smooth as opposed to something painful. That's the link. Okay, good, that's one done. Alright, we're on the last one now. I already know what pieces I need. I can do this with tremendous grace and speed. Lies, all lies. That's already wrong. I've already put the wrong piece down. So that goes like that. I'm in two minds about building these on this table with this. This is a towel on top. It's actually two large towels. You can easily see where they join. Underneath the table is, it's either, I think it's teak, but it might be mahogany. It's actually quite a high quality table. It came out of an old church. It's very solid. Like if you've ever moved a table, like just a solid wood table, you'll know that if it's good wood, it's heavy. If it's not good wood, it's light. This table is incredibly heavy. It's of a very high quality. It's really solid as well. It's the sort of table that, like, if you threw someone on, you'd be confident the table would not even like shrug. It's of that ilk. Underneath, it's very shiny. Actually, I think if I didn't have this on top, it would be, it would reflect the lights in an annoying fashion, and on top of that, it would be quite loud for putting anything on. When I first started using it, I had desktop mics, obviously, which that would have been a problem for. But now I'm using this one. That's not so much of an issue. But I kind of like the look of it, to be honest. It's slightly shoddy, and it picks up crap quite nicely. So whenever I do any like close-up shots, there'd always be bits of like straw or hay or whatever in the background, and it's oddly pleasing to me. I like a certain amount of, not crappiness, but shoddiness to my videos. Like you know, you do it and you think, yeah, that's good, but it's slightly too good. I'm not trying to make it that good. I need to take the quality down a few pegs. I know often I don't need to. It's already low quality enough, but every now and again, I'm getting close. I'm getting very close. There's a sadness in a Lego build when you get this close to the end, particularly when the end is like a big piece like this. There's a few little minor bits to add, but in fact, I don't know if there's even that, to be honest. I think it might just be one small additional piece. Right, is that it? That is it. Okay, let's put these two together. Yeah, that's the wrong way. So that goes through there. That's good. And then this goes on that. Good. That's held together quite nicely. And chuck this on. Okay. I really like the way they fold. That's cool. You can get them at the right angle you like. Okay. And where else is there? There's a good 4 stickers I haven't put on yet. In fact, I'm about to put 2 of them on now. My big tip is to put the sticker on the piece before you put the piece on the main thing. It's just slightly easier if you can manhandle both. In fact, all the stickers now go on in this step. I was going to do some research and find out where Yoda Starfighter comes from, but I've had no internet all morning, so it's not an option. Take this whole bit off to apply the last 2 stickers, which the stickers have the symbol of the rebellion on them, I think, or at least they're similar to that, like that round symbol. It might be the Republic's insignia now that I think about it, but I'm not certain. It's quite handy. For the most part, these stickers are grey, going onto grey bricks, so even if I'm slightly off with them, it doesn't matter too much. Alright, good. There you go there. That goes on there, somewhere there. And is that it? We done? Yep, I actually skipped some steps there. Oh yeah, got to load up the old guns. That's disappointing. The guns load in almost a little bit too far. I'll get to that in the actual review. I've just realised this horrible spot at the back is where R2 goes. That makes it significantly better. Yeah, I guess we're done. I'm going to get Yoda in there as well, with his unlit light. I'm looking at the 2 lightsabers it comes with. They are the same. Strange. Oh, I'll put that with him. How does he go in there though? Does it go into that hole? I won't put him in actually. Change my mind.